Will you, Vice Mayor Vick, if you would, lead us in the pledge. For both, will you please stand? Good evening.
Good evening, City Council. Thank you for this opportunity to render the invocation. Let us pray. Our Heavenly God, our Father, we thank you for another day. And God, even on this cold, rainy, and snowy evening, God, we thank you for your provisions, God, to allow us to convene in a warm space, God. God, we pray now, God, that you will forgive us of all of our shortcomings. God, today, if we did not embrace somebody with a warm embrace and smile, forgive us. God, if we saw somebody in need and turned a naked eye, forgive us. God, if we did not seek an opportunity, God, to better somebody else's life today, forgive us. Now, God, I pray, God, that you will lead this meeting tonight. Allow your wisdom, God, to be on the forefront of everybody's lips. Allow this meeting, God, to not be led by prejudice or bias, but allow this meeting, Lord, to be led by your love of your people and the love of you. Allow this meeting to be led by mercy, truth, and justice. Allow this meeting to be led by just your divine spirit. And we'll give your name all the honor, glory, and praise. In the name that's above every name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Would you please join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May I have a motion to excuse Councilwoman Scott from the meeting?
So moved. Second.
Moved in second. Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Vick,
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
4.
Councilwoman Cherry,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Councilman Jenkins,
4.
Mayor Price.
4.
Motion carries 6-0.
Okay. We are now at public hearings. Our first public hearing is on page 5. Item E1 is a request to adopt an ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager to execute that certain deed of lease by and between the City of Newport News, Virginia, and B&C Shoreside LLC for parcel 10 in the Seafood Industrial Park. B&C Shoreside LLC, DBA B&C Seafood, B&C, is the current leasee of parcel 10 and adjoining parcel 11 in the Seafood Industrial Park, or the SIP as it's known. The current lease between the city and B&C for parcel 10 will expire November the 30th of this year. B&C has requested a 5-year lease of parcel 10 to continue its seafood operations in Newport News. B&C has been an exemplary tenant and is in compliance with its existing Seafood Industrial Park leases. The city manager recommends approval. Are there any cards? Thank you. This is for questions only, Mr. Mullis. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
Moved in second. Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Vick,
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
4.
Councilwoman Cherry,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Councilman Jenkins,
4.
Mayor Price.
4.
Motion carries 6-0.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved. Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
I just have a question, Ms. Mayor. I know that it talks about parcel 10, but it also talked about B&C being the leasee of parcel 11. So can someone give me an update as whether or not when parcel 11 expires, or have we renewed that lease, or where are we with that?
Yes, it's my understanding that that lease was renewed in 2014 for
Okay.
a 20-year period, so it would go through 2034, and that's the current status of that parcel.
Okay, thank you. Just want to make sure. Thank you.
Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Vick,
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
4.
Councilwoman Cherry,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Councilman Jenkins,
4.
Mayor Price.
4.
Motion carries 6-0.
Item F contains the following items. Minutes of the work session of October the 22nd, minutes of the regular meeting, a request to approve a resolution adopting an update emergency operations plan and directing the city manager as city's director of emergency management to take actions necessary to implement said plan. A request to adopt an ordinance amending and reordaining City Code Chapter 2 Administration, Article 2, City Council, Division 2 Rules and Procedure, Section 2-36, Order of Business Prescribed Regular Meetings. And on page 196, a request to adopt an ordinance amending and reordaining City Code Chapter 26, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Article 9, Residential Parking Permit Program, Section 26-226, Designated Residential Permit Parking Areas for the inclusion of villages at Woodside to include Doreen Place between Shields Road and Rhonda Drive, Rhonda Drive between Doreen Place and Shields Road, Shields Road between Doreen Place and Rhonda Drive, Barbara Court, Cynthia Court, and Terry Sue Place. Do any of these items need to be removed by members of council? If not, a motion to approve consent agenda F1 through F5, all inclusive, is in order.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion?
Mayor, I do have a couple of questions. So, for consent agenda item number 5, where it talks about the residential permit parking area, I do have a couple of questions, and I'm not really sure who to direct those questions to.
Well, the Director of Engineering is here, and I'll ask him to come forward.
Thank you.
But I will see what I can do to respond if you
I
want to go ahead.
appreciate you. I'd like to know, because as Mr. Engineer knows, we have been in conversations with the North Huntington Heights residents regarding the residential permit parking. So I'd like to know what were the conditions at hand that require or makes this residential permit parking available?
Well, as was done with Huntington Heights, the engineering analysis involves how many spaces are available on the street, how many spaces are filled during the business day, and whether or not those spaces are filled by residents within the area. And there are standards for each of those criteria. We do that analysis. There's also a petition of the residents, which requires 75% of the residents on a particular block to agree that they want to do the residential parking permit program, because it is a burden on the residents as well. They have to pay for the permit, they have to display the permits and run the risk of getting tickets if they don't. So we do require that they say that they want to be part of the program. With all of those things in place, the manager is empowered to install the materials to begin with, the signs, and allow the issuance of the permits. Council then follows behind that and actually includes the block in the ordinance.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, we did get, now, you said 75% for that block, but was it for all of these streets that are inclusive? Was it 75% per block from this street to this street, or 75% of the whole area, 75%?
It's by block.
Okay,
And however, there is a certain amount of judgment that enters some of the areas. For example, when we are looking at a particular street that we're aware has a major generator right next to it, and the first block has met, and the second block may be close but hasn't met, then we will often pursue both at once, because otherwise you'll end up having the same problem immediately as soon as you enforce the permit on the first one. What happens is the folks that come to the first block immediately move to the second block. So when they're very close and they're having similar conditions, we will often produce both at the same time.
okay. I wanted to make sure that I spoke to that issue, because I did receive correspondence, even as I came today, from a resident in North Huntington Heights asking about the residential parking permit. And I know that we've had a lot of discussion about that when we have met with them for the town hall meetings. But I wanted to make sure that they understood the process whereby that we're asking for this residential parking permit for these particular streets.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
I did have a quick question not for you, but it's about consent agenda item 3, for the emergency operations plan. Cause this came up in a recent meeting that I was in this past week. How was that information disseminated out to citizens? As we had a couple citizens who, shared that they didn't know anything about the plan we have in place throughout the city. How is it shared with others in regards to the plan we have in place here in Newport News?
I have the fire chief back there, and I want to make sure we give the correct information, as well as some other staff that they can speak to in terms of the dissemination of the information. So Chief Johnson, if you could address it.
On this emergency operations plan, this is strictly a framework, so it's not a plan that addresses specific issues such as hazardous materials or severe weather, those sort of things. This is strictly a piece required under FEMA that we adopt a national framework, and then individual plans that deal with our responses to issues and hazards and severe storms, things like that. Here in the city are individual appendices to this plan, and they don't require an approval. This is strictly just a framework that we follow the national standard guideline for our incident command process, a unified command, and identifying a chain structure of authority from city council down to department heads. And then this allows us, once a event occurs in the city, to file for reimbursement and those things. So this is just a framework. It's not a particular plan for each issue, and so this didn't have any public input. We're just adopting the national standard for the framework.
So do we have an actual plan?
Yeah, we have many
And that's what I was
individual
saying,
plans.
How is citizens privy of what that plan entails? Because that's what came up in our meeting when we were discussing localities, surrounding localities, and they were saying Newport News didn't have a plan, but I know going back to early 2000s, we have one in place, but they seem not to know where to find that information.
So we probably need to do, a better job educating. We definitely have individual plans for all the different hazards the city could see. I don't think since I've been here, we've had any of those updated yet. This is just strictly the framework. So what we do need to do is probably do a better job. Now, there are several of the plans on the city's website under emergency management. And then when we are seeing events start to ramp up that we're preparing for, we start pushing out that information through social media and public alerting out to the city.
Mayor, if I could ask a question, Chief Johnson, and so we do have a system in place for the city that citizens can be aware when there's a weather alert. Can you share with them, would you share with them how to go about getting that process?
So
beginning that process?
they can go to the city's website and
Okay.
sign up for Newport News Alert.
Okay.
And they'll get a message broadcast from the city advising them of impending storms or any type of issues going on and actions they can take, and then where they can go to for further information.
Thank you, appreciate that.
But just to follow up, that was a good point, Councilman Harris, and we'll come back to you with a plan of how we can do it. Provide more information and a better job of making sure the public is aware of it. If nothing else, what the links are so that they can review the plans.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Vick,
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
4.
Councilwoman Cherry,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Councilman Jenkins, Mayor Price.
4.
Motion carried, 6-0.
Page 204, item G1, Madam Manager.
Yes, this is a request to receive bids granting a utility easement across a portion of city right-of-way designated as Canaan Boulevard. I recommend you receive the bids and refer them to my office.
She hates it.
I thought he forgot it.
We have a bid from Dominion. Yep, that's it. Oh. Yep. Thank you.
I assume that was for $1.
It didn't say.
Charge them $1 million then. Couldn't hurt.
Is it one on that?
Just different properties.
Yeah,
Houses.
there are 3 properties, but I don't no amount on any.
Further information in the envelope, so. that might be-
Oh, on
You have
each
3
one.
envelopes you can open with that.
All right.
Well, the other one's for next meeting. We have some coming up next meeting. They have to be open next meeting.
I don't know which one is which.
We have 3 here.
Cannon Boulevard is this meeting.
Okay, that's the one I just opened. Does that say
Okay.
Canada?
Give me the other one, so you know.
Yes, $1.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Well, you look better.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney, for keeping us straight.
Thank you. All right, item G2, Madam Manager.
Could I
Can I
just,
ask a question?
yeah, I wanted to
what?
ask a question too.
Sure.
Did we get that? Go ahead. Ben.
I wanted to ask about the, it says for the construction of a new public parking garage?
Yes, that's at the garage in City Center.
In city center?
Yes, ma'am. That fourth garage,
Okay, all right.
that's,
I
will
didn't know
be
whether
near
that was. I
Ferguson.
thought it
That's
was-
for that public garage.
This
and
is
they
a
need
power
this.
line easement in the Cannon Boulevard right of way.
Okay.
The question I had, Mr. Mayor, is can anyone tell us on what will be the impact of the traffic once they start relocating these electrical services? How much time frame are we talking about? And is traffic gonna be detoured, and what is that gonna look like for City Center as we approach the holidays and all the things that we got planned for
Sure.
the fountain? What are we talking about?
I'm gonna ask Matt Johnson from
Thank you,
Development to
Matt.
come
How you doing?
forward.
I'm well, how are you?
The relocation work is all scheduled to take place within the area of the limits of disturbance for the existing parking garage project, so there's no additional work required, or minimal work where they would be tying in outside of that, so no real traffic impacts are required or anticipated.
At all? And are we talking about now from here to December, or what time frame are we speaking of?
The time frame, they're working on the actual schedule of when they won't be able to set up an actual schedule until the actual easement itself is awarded, but
Okay,
probably it'll be in the late December, early January timeframe.
okay, thank you, appreciate
right.
that. Mr. Mayor.
Item G2, page 215, Madam Manager.
Yes, this is a request to approve a resolution approving and adopting the City of Newport News legislative program for the 2020 Virginia General Assembly, and I recommend approval.
Are there any cards? Okay, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Second?
Moved in second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Vick,
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
4.
Councilwoman Cherry,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Councilman Jenkins, Mayor Price.
4.
Motion carries 6-0.
Page 259, item G3, Madam Manager.
Yes, this is a request to approve a resolution approving the donation of 2 city-owned vehicles to Hampton Roads Community Action Program, HR CAP, and I recommend approval.
Is this the?
No.
Nope.
No,
Okay.
that's the next one.
All right. Is there a motion to approve, are there any cards, first of all?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
So,
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Vick,
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
4.
Councilwoman Cherry,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Councilman Jenkins,
4.
Mayor Price.
4.
Motion carries 6-0.
Page 263, item G4, Madam Manager.
Yes, I believe you have a substitute resolution that
Yes.
the city attorney's provided. But this is a request to approve a resolution approving the donation of 1 city-owned vehicle to Newport News Redevelopment Housing Authority, and I recommend approval.
Are there any cards?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to adopt the
So
resolution?
moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Vick,
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
4.
Councilwoman Cherry,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Councilman Jenkins,
4.
Mayor Price.
4.
Motion carries 6-0.
Page 267, item G5, Madam Manager.
Yes. This is a request to approve a resolution on the issuance of up to $52 million of revenue bonds by the Industrial Development Authority of the City of Newport News, Virginia, for the benefit of the Christopher Newport University Real Estate Foundation. And I understand there have been a few questions, and I just want to stress on this item that the city, nor the IDA or the EDA, have any financial liability for the $52 million. This is purely a vehicle to allow nonprofits such as higher education, hospitals to be able to access tax-exempt bonds. So I just wanted to make sure that we clarified for you that the city nor IDA has any financial obligation.
Okay.
Well, thank you for doing that, because that was one of my questions. And I remember when it was presented to us the first time, and I just didn't know why we were still doing it. But it is about the tax exempt thing.
Yes, ma'am. And this isn't the first project. You've had other
Oh, I know.
projects. And Mr. Hornby is here, I believe he's just for questions only,
But the resolution reiterates that there's no
Yes.
city or IDA liability.
but
I
I
just-
just want to stress that.
Yes.
And I think that that's really important for the citizens to hear, that this is not something that the city is paying for, because when I saw and I have to be honest with you, when I saw the 52 million, I'm like, oh my God, we can build a high school with that. And so I was really alarmed by that, and I want to make sure that when we're talking about the revenue bonds, that that is not something that's coming out from the city paying, but this is strictly going through the IDA with Christopher Newport, if I understood correctly.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we're clear on that, and that residents that have been advocating for funds for Huntington understand that this is not money coming from the city to this entity.
Totally unrelated and different financial structure.
Okay, thank
But I
you.
do recommend approval.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Vick,
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
4.
Councilwoman Cherry,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Councilman Jenkins,
Four.
Mayor Price.
4.
Motion carried, 6-0.
Page 289, item G6, Madam Manager.
This is the first of 2 companion items, and it's a request to approve a resolution appropriating an additional $325,000 for traffic signal improvements on Warwick Boulevard, and I recommend approval.
Are there any cards?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Vick,
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
4.
Councilwoman Cherry,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Councilman Jenkins,
Four.
Mayor Price.
4.
Motion carried, 6-0.
Page 293, item G7, Madam Manager.
Yes, and the second piece of this is a request to approve a resolution granting authority to the city manager to execute the Newport News Shipbuilding Traffic Improvements Agreement between the City of Newport News and Huntington Ingalls Incorporated regarding installation of traffic lights and pedestrian crossing signals and the sharing of the costs of such improvements, and I recommend approval.
Are there any cards?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
Yes, so moved. They're offering to help with funding?
Is
Yes.
Yes, they are fully funding.
Is there a
Are
second?
they how much?
Yes, ma'am. They are fully funding the $1.1 million. There are some costs associated that we're doing administratively because we're administering it, but they are funding this project. And this was additional funding because the bids came in a little higher than what we had originally anticipated. You acted on the funding a meeting or 2 ago, and this is additional funding.
And they're paying that too?
Yes, ma'am. The total, they are paying the cost of.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Vick,
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
4.
Councilwoman Cherry,
4, and I'd like to say that I'm glad that they are participating, because this has really been a tough place for those residents in North Huntington Heights. And I just want to encourage them to let them know that this is just the first of many things that we're going to continue to try to make that area better for them as far as traffic coming in and out of their community. So I want to say thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Councilman Jenkins,
Four.
Mayor Price.
4.
Motion carried, 6-0.
Item H, Madam Manager.
Yes, we have 2 appropriations. The first is a request to approve a resolution appropriating $15,000 from the Office of the Commonwealth's Attorney Asset Forfeiture Funds. And the second is a request to approve a resolution appropriating funds from Petco Foundation Grant revenue to Petco Foundation Grant contractual services in the amount of $100,000 for the Peninsula Regional Animal Shelter. And I recommend approval of both.
Is there a motion to approve item H1 and H2, both inclusive?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Vick,
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
4.
Councilwoman Cherry,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Councilman Jenkins,
Four.
Mayor Price.
4.
Motion carried, 6-0.
We are now at citizens' comments that are germane to the business of council. I will call the cards as presented. Martell Overman. Martell Overman. Okay. Olivia Horvath. Horvath, sorry. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. My name is Olivia Horvath, and I'm a 10th grader at Warwick High School and the elected Vice President of the Young Adult Police Commissioners. YAPC is a group consisting of 24 high school students, one freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior from each high school. This is our second year as a group, and we get the pleasure of working with the police department and to learn about the city and the good things going on in the city. The goal of the commission is to bridge the gap between the youth of our city and the police department. We have 24 concerned young adults who want to take place in the conversation in this city is having on how to address we can help make our neighborhood safe. We meet every Thursday with the dedicated police officers to discuss how we can assist Chief Drew and the police department. Last year, we hosted 6 youth forums, one at each high school and one at Midtown Community Center, a poetry slam, open mic night, in partnership with the Down and Gross Community Center, and an end-of-the-year gala sponsored by Bayport Credit Union. Over the summer, the YAPC members assisted each precinct with each of the community days in Ridley Circle, South Morrison Community Center, and Aqueduct. YAPC members spoke at various NNPD functions such as the Police Department Memorial Ceremony, the Recruit Graduation Ceremony, and the Police Department Departmental Ceremony, Promotion Ceremony. Also, we have had many group bonding events and overnight lock-in at NNPD headquarters and night out at the movies with Chief Drew and Assistant Chief Randall to see Endgame on opening night and going jumping at Surge, to name a few. We are looking forward to continuing our partnership with the Newport News Police Department and hope that we, as representatives of the youth in the city of Newport News, can continue to be a voice in the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you have all the members stand? Thank you.
Can I ask a question? How long do you serve on this committee? Do you stay on it from year to year, or what is your term?
We apply our first year and we have a interview with some of the older members, and we stay on it as long as we want to, or if Sergeant Morgan or Chief Drew decides that we did something that.
Okay, I got
All right. Thank you.
Great job.
That's great.
All right. Thank you all. Elijah Brown.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Elijah Brown. I am a senior at Heritage High School, and I am the president of Young Adult Police Commissioners. For many of you who don't know, Young Adult Police Commissioners is a group made of students from each high school in Newport News. Although we have a great time with each other, our main focuses are our schools and our communities. This group was created in order to give a voice to the youth. Looking back on this last year, I say we accomplished our goal. YAPC has given the youth an opportunity to work with Newport News Police Department on finding solutions to some of the problems that we face in our city. One of the most exciting projects coming up for our group is the new TV show, Bringing Youth to the Conversation, which will be airing on NNTV, YouTube, Facebook Live, and Instagram Live. On the TV show, members of YAPC will be interviewing influential figures in our city, to include such leaders as the city manager and our school superintendent. Our goal is to answer the questions most frequently asked by the youth and the people of our community, and talk about the great things happening in Newport News. We want to expose this great city to our generation and talk about the direction that this city is going in. We would like to extend a personal invitation to you, Madam City Manager, and to you, Mr. Mayor, to be a part of our TV show. With your support, we can make this project successful. I thank you for allowing me to share a few words with you, and I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of the evening.
Thank you. Jaden Pipkin. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jaden Pipkin. I am the elected Secretary of the Youth Adult Police Commissioners. I am here today to inform you all about our swearing-in ceremony this Thursday, November 14th, 2019 at 3 p.m. at the Mariners Museum. It would be an honor if the leaders of this city would attend and support us as we begin our 2019-2020 journey of bringing youth to the conversation. Each of you should have received an electronic copy invite for this event, but I'd like to ensure that each of you have an invite in hand, as well as the parking instructions for the Mariners Museum. I hope to see y'all there. Thank you for letting me speak here today.
Thank you, sir. Maybe. He had some. Pam Hall. Good evening.
Good evening, citizens of the Virginia Commonwealth and the Newport News. My name is Pam Hall, and I live in the southeast community of Newport News. How lonely sits the shuttered school that was once full of life and was the center of the southeast community. No quid pro quo for immediate appropriation and allocation of funding for the design of Huntington Middle School. So in 2020, you can appropriate and allocate full funding of Huntington Middle School so we can expedite relieving the overcrowding in the middle schools. No quid pro quo on continuing to put the southeast community last. We need a 22nd century STEAM school to close the gap. No quid pro quo accepting your vision for the area to get funding. Your vision should be based around the school. Thank you.
Adrian Whitcomb. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, City Manager, members of council, and everybody else. I was privileged to be at the Victory Arch yesterday for the ceremony, and I think it went very good. It was especially encouraging to see the number of young people there. And the JROTC that did a great job. And the weather cooperated yesterday, so good to have days like that. Of course, I was there with my camera, so if anybody's interested in seeing some of what happened yesterday, I will put those on YouTube. And also, today, of course, during the work session, there was a discussion about a proposal from HRSD, Hampton Road Sanitation District, about some land on the city farm. And I think the public needs to know about this, so I did make a video, and I'll put that on YouTube, and you can go to SaveRiverviewFarmPark.com for the link to the video. And it's something we'll have to discuss, and I know it's something you'll have to discuss among yourselves, but the citizens, there will be public meetings, and when we know about these meetings, we'll post those on our website and encourage people to come to those meetings and express their ideas of what should happen. So at this time, we're open-minded about this issue, and we hope everybody will educate themselves. I expect there'll be something in the newspaper about this tomorrow too. But if you want to see the actual presentation video, it will be on YouTube, and there'll be a link at SaveRiverviewFarmPark.com. So thank you, and enjoy the fall.
Thank you. Charles Banks. Good evening.
I'm sorry, I'm nervous. I don't know what
Not a
I'm
problem.
doing here.
Just
I'm
talk to
down
me,
here,
sir.
down here at this Four Oak Center. They told me to come express my concerns.
Can you get a little closer to the mic so we can hear you? Okay, great.
They told me to come down and express my concerns with the Four Oak Center.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm basically in a homeless predicament, and I'm trying to wrap my head around what do they do. Like, I know they supposed to find housing, but I did most of their job for them. I came in on a waiting list. I'm already working. I don't know what they do besides put you in a room, make you feel like a convict, because I went to jail before for child support. Other than that, never been to that place. Don't have no plans of being there, don't want to be there. But I do know what it feels like. And it's like sitting at that Four Oak Center, because you're sitting in one room with all these people. Some people, they can't help it. They have problems. And I get that. But I don't know who I'm sitting next to. I just need a place to stay. They said they can help me. I've been there since February. You haven't helped me. And what you tried to help me with will hurt me more than anything. I'm working at McDonald's. I needed a job, a steady job. They say, you go get a job, we'll help you find an apartment. I've had an apartment before. It don't work like that. I don't go get a job today, get an apartment tomorrow. I go get a job, I have to work the job. I've sat here and I've asked, why aren't you telling people, since you're sitting here, housing authority? Not every homeless person has a record. I'm waiting on based on income housing myself. Like, why aren't you telling these people where the based on income housing are? You want to send them to Huntington on the James and Admiral Point. Why would I, working at McDonald's, take a $700 apartment with electricity when I can wait on the based on income housing, which just makes more sense to me? It's based on my income, not your thoughts. My income might be $300 a month plus electricity. Just seemed to make more sense to me if you're trying to help me. I mean, the place is good for certain people. They have programs already in place. And the programs that's already in place help those people. They have CSB. CSB helps the people with CSB. The Veterans Place helps the veterans. So it's a good place. But I'm sitting somewhere where I'm in an argument with the staff, like why? Most of my days are spent talking to security. This top guard security, I don't even get that. You got a private armed security company for a bunch of homeless people, and you know these people are homeless. You put a metal detector up in there, you warn them. Most of them, apparently, you've known these people for years. So you know most of them are harmless. A little crazy, but harmless. And it's an armed private security company. If it was sheriffs, I could understand it a lot better, but they're private. So it kind of like bothers me. That part bothers me. And then with their staff, not all the staff, just certain members of your staff, it's like not every security officer. Certain security officers, they just go too far.
Okay. Mr. Banks, I'm going to direct you, if Mr. Allen, if you would raise your hand, sir. He will take your information and help you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mayor Price, if I can just say, Mr. Banks, thank you so much for coming and sharing. We appreciate that. And so
Thank
Mr. Archer and I talked earlier about the Four Oaks, so hopefully he'll be able to hear you and help you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna try one more time. Martel Overman. Okay. Those are all the cards I have. We're now at new business. Madam Manager.
Nothing, sir.
Mr. Attorney.
Nothing, sir.
Madam Clerk.
Nothing, sir.
Vice Mayor Vick.
Well, I definitely want to thank everyone for coming down tonight to speak on their topics of interest, and particularly to our young leadership. It is so refreshing to be able to see young people who want to be involved and you coming here with the mission to see what you can do and be a part of the conversation for our future. So I thank you for that. Thank you, Chief Drew, for your leadership and guiding the kids in the right direction. So look forward to a brighter future for Newport News. And I also want to, again, thank the staff. I did thank them in the work session, but we had a sold-out State of the City for Newport News at the Marriott. And I just want to thank all of you. Nothing but great comments about the leadership, all of the undercover jobs that we had. And so it was a lot of hard work and scheduling. So to Cleta and her communications team and every department that was involved, thank you so much. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Woodbury.
I just want to say ditto to what you said, Vice Mayor, because it was a really fun, and I'd like somebody to give where people who weren't able to go, where they could go and see the film.
Actually, they're planning to show it right after the meeting tonight.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, I should watch it again then. I also want to comment on our young police force. I think it's wonderful. I want you to be a part of the conversation. We can learn so much from you. And the other thing, though, is that I want you to know we have a council retreat, so we are not going to be able to be there at your graduation, which I deeply regret, because I would like to be there and give you each a hug and a handshake, but you'll have to do it virtually. I guess that's the only way. But we do really congratulate you and look forward to what you add to the conversation. So thank you so much. That's it.
Councilwoman Cherry.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight and just give a few brief announcements if I could, or just the first thank you I want to thank Calvary Seventh-day Adventist Church and Pastor Prevet for hosting a family wellness summit a couple of weeks ago, and their topic of discussion was domestic violence. And I think it was just really important that even the faith community hears what resources are available and how we as people of faith also need to step outside the box sometime and get the assistance and help that we need in situations of domestic violence. So I just want to thank the church and thank Pastor Prevet for spearheading that conversation. I want to also give congratulations to those individuals who completed the Neighborhood Leadership Series last week. It was good to see that particular portion that we've been working with for CNI and all the things that we're trying to do to educate the community, that they know what's going on and that they can become a part of all of the town hall meetings and anything that's going on in the city. It's important for them to know that we need their voices and their voices will be heard. I want to thank for the Department of Human Services and Van Thomas and her group, Virginia and Ms. Cook, because we had our Faith Justice Community Meeting last Tuesday, and they brought to us a poverty simulation, and the room was full of individuals from the faith community, and it was just it was a lot of fun. I've already done it before, so I was able to sit back and kind of laugh a little bit, but was able to take pictures. So thank you for Ms. Grant coming from Friendship Baptist Church and others that came to support that particular event. I think it's really important for the church and the faith community, again, to understand what happens when an individual has to live in poverty or what things they experience in poverty. And so that experience was just really good. And I'm hoping that we gleaned a lot from that. Our hearts were made more sensitive and more empathetic to things that people go through when they don't have the things that they need, just day-to-day living. Sometimes we take things for granted. And to be able to sit in those seats was really inspirational for me again. I want to say love and kisses to all of my young adult police commissioners. I love you so much, and you made a mama proud tonight, so thank you so much. I'm just so proud of all of you. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope that this won't be the last time that you come to City Council. It's really important. We're here basically on the second and the fourth Tuesdays of every month. And it's important that, we need to bring your voice to the table, not only just in your setting, but even at City Council. If you see something that's going wrong in the community, it's important for you to come and tell us what you think. Because this generation that I'm in, me and all these other folks up here, you all are our future but our present. And so we just want to make sure that you know that your voice will be heard even when you come to city council as well. So I'm hoping that this just won't be your last time coming. Announcements to come up. We had a great day at the Veterans Day ceremony yesterday. They had their first Veterans Day parade. I wasn't able to make that, but the ceremony itself was very nice. So I want to say thank you to retired Lieutenant Colonel for the ROTC from Minchfield High School. They are always so neat and so clean and so crisp. So I want to give kudos to Lieutenant Colonel, and I can't pronounce his name, Regala Ray.
Okay.
Well, we'll get it, okay. But just say thank you to him and all that they did and presented yesterday. The last thing I'd like to say is that the South District Town Hall meetings, Your Voice Matters, South District Town Hall meetings, we had one scheduled for this Thursday, but because we have City Council retreat, we will not have that meeting on this Thursday at 6 o'clock. And then next Thursday, that meeting also has been canceled because we will be away at our National League of Cities annual convention. So I just want to make sure that individuals know that that's what's happening. And the last announcement will be that we're preparing for Christmas for the Children. That's one of the activities that the Downtown Newport News and Merchants and Neighbors Association hosts each year. That date is going to be December the 21st. It's going to be from 1 to 3, and it will be on the historic grounds of the James A. Fields House, 617 27th Street. So we are in need of sponsors. If you want to donate gift cards, we try to make sure that we have something from ages 0 to 17. So we want gift cards. If you have toys, used and refurbished bicycles, we will be in need of them, and we're asking that if you would contribute and donate so that we can make Christmas special for all of our children in the community. So that date again is December the 21st. And thank you to all of you who came out and supported the Community Fall Fest, which we had in October. Thank you.
Councilman Harris.
All right, and good evening, everyone, and thanks to everyone who came out on this snowy, rainy fall night. I do want to say congratulations to Pastor Peter Evans and the Colossians Baptist Church as they celebrated their 152nd anniversary a couple Sundays ago, and had a great time over there spending it with them. Ate good after the service, so I just want to say congratulations to them. Also want to say congratulations to the following high schools: Woodside, Warwick, and Minchfield, especially Minchfield, as they've made it to the playoffs representing our city in the state high school regional championships coming up this weekend. So congratulations to those three schools and the players and coaches that are part of those programs. And tonight, the Young Police Academy, thank you guys for coming out, and congratulations to you guys. Unfortunately, we won't be able to make it tomorrow or Thursday. However, I do want to acknowledge my former student, Miss Destiny. One thing I can say, this program has made impact on all the young people, but I speak on her account because I've known her and seen her go through high school and maturing and finding her way through high school to where she is now, and it's just been a monumental change for her, as I see how she smiles a lot more now and how she's still being herself, but I'm just proud of what she's matured into, and that's thanks to this program. So I know it's very beneficial and impactful in the lives of the young people that are a part of it. So congratulations to all of you that will be celebrating on Thursday. I do have two students. I hope they are here on tonight. As we talk about our young people, we have some young people from Jenkins Elementary School that have been identified as leaders in our community. I'm going to ask them to stand if Amaya Casanova is here. Did I say that correct? Oh, there she go. Amaya Casanova. And Gia Sia. I hope I was here. Oh, she's here. Okay, can you please stand? I'm always going around. Keep standing. Let's stand while I talk about you for a second. I always seek out young people in our community that are doing great things, and I had a chance to talk to their principal, who's here, Ms. Stewart from Jenkins Elementary School, and she told me about And she told me about these two young ladies who are active in their schools and how they are show leadership characteristics and how they are part of the safety patrol. They serve on the morning show, so they get the students inspired each and every day to be a part, to have a great school day. And those are the leadership capabilities that we should always highlight because of what they have the potential to be as they continue to move forward. So thank you, Ms. Stewart, for acknowledging these young ladies to me as we continue to cultivate those leadership skills so that as they continue to mature and matriculate through school, that they'll be one day sitting behind this desk. So I thank you for sharing them with us on tonight, and congratulations to you. They're fifth graders, so they have one more year as a senior in their elementary school before they move on to their middle school. And I look forward to the great things that they have forward in their future. So thank you all for being here tonight, and your families that are here, thank you for bringing them to be a part of the meeting. And just before I finish, we are starting to collect any school supplies. If anybody has any leftover school supplies, what we like to do for the second semester of school is to be able to kick our students off the second semester just as they started the school year by providing anything that they may need. You know, pencils break, crowns go dull, scissors go a little dull. We want to be able to provide students with school supplies that can help them get through the second semester of school year. So if you have anybody donating school supplies or know anybody, please get in contact with me, and I will come and pick them up. And that's all I have, Mayor Price.
Thank you. Councilman Jenkins.
Nothing.
I also want to highlight another youth group, and that's the Mayor's Youth Commission. We had the induction ceremony last week, and these are representatives from all of our high schools, both private and public, and we have actually one homeschool student as well. They do a great job, and I just want to highlight them and look forward to working with them this year as well. For those of you who don't know, there is such a thing as No Shave November, which some of us are able to participate in. Thank you. Police department is doing that. It is a thing, and it's to honor those who with cancer who lose their hair, and those of us who are supposed to, have money to stay groomed and whatnot, donate that money to the cure for cancer. So that is a thing, and if you see a lot of us looking scruffy, it's about that. The holiday festivities we were presented with tonight, a program of what that's going to look like. There's a poster outside as you leave. I would invite everyone that's watching to look forward to the announcements. It's a fantastic program that the city has planned for all throughout the city this year, and we're looking forward to having a good time with our holiday festivities. I also like to thank those who attended the State of the City, and it's usually on every night at 9 o'clock. I don't know if they're going to show it immediately after or wait till 9 o'clock. If they don't show it immediately, it'll be at 9 o'clock tonight. I also wanted to thank the Sheriff's Department for initiating something I've been trying to do for years, is have a parade in the city on Veterans Day. We started out with small, and I think it's going to grow. I think we're going to get more and more participation. I want to thank Minstrel High School Band for participating, and Police Department, Fire Department for sharing that and highlighting all the veterans. It's a honorable thing and to watch as they play the songs for all the 5 services for members of the family and the members, veterans, to stand in honor of the service that they did. That's all I have. If there is nothing further, yes, ma'am.
One thing about Menchville High School, they were evaluated by the state and all the other bands around the state, and they received the highest rating in every of all the people who participated. They were the tops, and we were very lucky to have them down there yesterday. And congratulations, because they are a good group.
They really are. Yes, thank you. If there's nothing further, may what you say and do uplift the city of Newport News. We stand adjourned.
Do you want the best? That's you. Do you want these other